everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and today I am here to discuss why Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor, and why I feel that Bautista will go on to have an amazing movie career. So, earlier this week, The Hollywood Reporter compiled their top 10 best wrestlers turned actors, and to the surprise of everyone, Dave Bautista came out on top at number one as the best wrestler turned actor. Now, for me, this was no surprise. If I had compiled that list, I would have chosen Dave Bautista as the best wrestler turned actor. Now, the reason why, in my opinion, why Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor is if you look at all of the movies he's done so far, they're not all the same. They're all different. And Batista has really matured and grown as an actor in his own right. Sure, he's not a household name like The Rock. The Rock is probably the biggest movie star on the planet. There's not a single person out there who doesn't know who The Rock is. Even if they've never followed his wrestling career, everybody knows who The Rock is. He's a massive box office draw and he puts bums on seats. John Cena has now started to go down the same path and he's embarked on a film career of his own. And John Cena, he's a big name in movies, but nowhere near as close as The Rock. And he's done a few films. He appeared in Transformers, Bumblebee movie, and he's absolutely slaying it at the moment as Peacemaker. Season 2 is coming up any day now. So he's done quite a good job so far with his own film career. But for me, there is one guy in the background who's carved out a nice reputation for himself as a great, credible actor in his own right, and that's Dave Bautista. No, he's not a big name. He's a name, but he's not a household name yet. And what I have admired about Bautista's role in movies is he's really willing to throw himself into all kinds of different situations. Now, when Batista left WWE in 2010 and he announced that he was going to have a crack at a film career, my initial reaction was, oh, great, just what the world needs. Another wrestler who thinks they can act. And that's nothing against Dave Bautista. We've seen things like this before. Wrestlers have jumped into movies. Obviously Hulk Hogan has done it, and aside from The Rock and John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, just to name a few, certain wrestlers have tried their hand at movies and television, and for the most part, it didn't really work out too well. Most of them would go straight back to the wrestling thing. But Batista was adamant that he was really going to make a go of having a film career. And his first major film role, which came out in 2014 as part of the MCU, everybody laughed him out of the room. Even WWE as well laughed him out of the room when, Batista wanted the movie promoted that summer. And this was around the time he was on a short comeback run, which was a bit of a disaster through no fault of his. It was just a case of right place, wrong time sort of situation as far as the fans were concerned. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 ended up being one of the biggest grossing movies of the summer of 2014. And Batista was a big part of that film's success. Now, I finally got to watch Guardians of the Galaxy in the end, and he was one of the highlights of that movie. He was absolutely hilarious. He was badass. He was absolutely amazing. And obviously, Batista would feature in two more Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he was also featured in two Avengers movies back to back, Infinity War and Endgame. And I thought to myself, okay, this was certainly not on my bingo card. Dave Bautista is really slaying it on the big screen. This is unbelievable. And then after that, he would appear in Spectre, where he played a villain called Hinks. And even though he had no dialogue at all apart from one little swear word, he was just us. Batista, throughout most of that movie, remained silent and he was excellent. And he reminded me a lot of how he used to be when he was in Evolution. Man, a few words, dressed very smart, and would just kick ass. And he and Daniel Craig had that great fight scene on the train. Batista was just incredible. He really was. And he had a small role in Blade Runner 2048, and I didn't even recognize him. And I didn't even know he was going to be appearing in that movie, and he was going to have a little scene with Ryan Gosling, and he was fantastic in that movie. And he appeared in Dune and Dune Part 2, and I thought, wow, Batista's really going for it here. And one thing that really impressed me about Batista as an actor, his range, his versatility. If you took about maybe 4 or 5 Batista movies, like 5 different characters he's played, they're all different. And that's really impressed me the most about Batista was his acting range and his versatility. I was fully expecting him to go down the rock path where he would just play an action hero, essentially just play himself, the typical stereotype, muscled up big guy who just go around beating everybody up. I mean, yes, he's had some fight scenes in the movies he's appeared in, but there's so much more to Batista's acting range than just punching and kicking. Batista, as far as I'm concerned, has showed unbelievable range and incredible versatility. He's showed a lot of depth in the characters he portrays, and he's really maturing as an actor, in my opinion. And that has really won me over. Could Batista be as big a name as The Rock? Probably not. He'll be the first to tell you that. But he even said so himself. He just wants to be a good actor. I mean, he lost a lot of muscle mass. He's got his weight down because he wants to take on more serious film roles, not just muscled up roles. And I admire that, and I'm really impressed with that. I seriously thought that Batista would go down the Fast and Furious path. Not to say that's not entirely out of the question. He could have a cameo in one of those movies one day. But I think with Batista, he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to prove everyone wrong that no, I'm not just some ex wrestler turned actor who's going to do the typical action movies. I want to be taken seriously as an actor. And I admire that. I really admire that. And I think he's going to have an amazing career. I mean, probably a lot of people don't remember, but one of his earliest roles on TV was back in Smallville, back in season 6, where he had a little throwdown with Tom Welling's Clark Kent for about 5 to 10 minutes. And, that was great. So obviously, he's got the acting bug now, and obviously, he wants to do more and he wants to be successful and do well. So hats off to the big man. I wish him all the best. I think he's going to have a great career. And the thing I like about Batista is he can do it all. He can do serious, he can do comedy, he can be downright frightening, you name it. He can do it all. And I really admire his versatility that he hasn't gone down the same path as The Rock or John Cena. But to John Cena's credit, he is excellent as Peacemaker. So who knows? Maybe John Cena might go down a different path after Peacemaker's finished. Who knows? But right now, as far as I'm concerned, the best wrestler turned actor, hands down, is Dave Bautista, without question. And if I was compiling that list that Hollywood Reporter put together, I would have chosen Dave Bautista in a heartbeat. He's the man, as far as I'm concerned, and I look forward to seeing where his film career goes from here. So, anyway, that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. How do you guys feel about Dave Bautista as an actor? Do you think he's a good actor? Do you think Batista is the best wrestler turned actor? What's your favorite movie featuring Batista? Is it the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy? Is it Spectre? Is it Dune Parts 1 and 2? Or is it Blade Runner 2048? And what do you think about Batista's acting range? Do you think he is incredibly versatile? And what kind of career do you think he'll have later on? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.